recording, and then we'll get going.
That's in recording.
Thanks, Robert. Thank you. Welcome, everyone. Thanks very much for joining us this afternoon. I'm delighted to welcome two presenters today who come from Widgit Software. Sue White and Sally Wells are here to talk about a new resource they have called the Widgit Online Early Years Pack. So I'm really looking forward to finding out all about it. They're going to be talking for about 20 to 25 minutes. If you have any questions, you can either save them up for the end, turn on your microphone and ask, or just pop them in the chat and we'll mop them up at the end. So I'm going to hand over to Sue and to Sally. Thanks very much for coming along, and we'll see you again at the end. Thank you.
Lovely. Thank you, everybody, and thanks very much for coming along. We're just going to share the screen and then we can get started. Okay, so I'm hoping you can see that. So we just want to show you today, as we said, our early years pack. And we're going to talk a little bit about how you can use that pack to adapt the resources or to create your own resources in our programme Widgit Online. So let's have a look. Okay, that didn't move. That's not a good start. There we go. I'm sure you're all very familiar about the use of visuals in supporting children and supporting everybody, really. But this is a slide that I always like to use because the statistics just blow my mind. Every time I look at this, I kind of think that's why it's so much easier to look at a road sign or to look at some information that's presented via an icon or a symbol on a washing label, for example. And the quote there from Speech and Language UK, or what was previously ICANN, again, we're all very familiar and aware that children, particularly young children, are very visual learners, and so the importance of using symbols, particularly in early years settings. So why symbols then and not photographs? So symbols are very simple images. They don't have any background information, they don't have any peripheral things that can be distracting. They simply represent a concept, and you're fairly sure when you show that symbol that a child is going to understand what it is that you mean, and they're not going to get distracted by the grass or the trees or the other children in the photograph that you can see there, for example. And they can be used to support both receptive and expressive language, word recognition in pre-readers, and used in times of stress and anxiety when word recall is difficult. And then we ask why widget symbols in particular. And I think you can see there from the photograph to the illustration to the symbol of the library, how a symbol represents the concept of the library. It's not just your library in your town, but it represents all libraries. And widget symbols follow a schema around that idea of representing concepts. They're consistent, as you've seen in the previous slide. They're what we call age neutral, so they support all ages. And indeed, we are finding now that we are being represented both in preschool, early years settings, right the way up to care homes and dementia homes. So you don't get that transition through teenage where people think that the symbols are babyish and they don't want to use them anymore. So starting off with a symbol that can be used through all ages in the early years setting is really useful and really a good idea. And then finally, you can personalize our symbols, and that's done through our software, which we'll show you in a moment. But we say we have over 20,000 symbols in the symbol set, but if you take into account the fact that you can change the skin tone to 6 different skin tones, and you can change the color of any symbol, then actually the number of symbols that we have is actually quite limitless. We're not denying that you do need to use photographs, and we obviously are very much aware of the movement, the transition through object of reference to photograph to symbol. And so our pack, which we're going to show you very soon, does also incorporate photographs, because that is important. And the software will allow you to add in your own photographs very easily as well. As well as the early years pack that we have created, you're also able to make your own resources. But we want to show you now some of the things that are in this new early years pack that we launched at the end of January. Now, it was designed to fit the 7 areas of the English EYFS statutory framework, but we believe, having looked at your curriculum for excellence, that it will meet very many of the 8 areas that you have in your Scottish curriculum as well. And Sally's going to tell you a little bit about each of those areas.
Thanks, Sue. Hi, everybody. So as Sue mentioned, there's a variety of resources available in the early years pack. And so I'd just like to talk through a few of those examples, excuse me, so you know what you can access. So there's a section all around communication, developing communication and language. And within that, there's a variety of aided language boards. So you can see on the screen an example of one of those that's in the pack. Obviously, these are used to encourage expression of wants and needs and feelings. And the examples in the pack have been populated with some general symbols, but obviously they would need to be edited and tweaked to suit the individual needs. There's also a variety of games in the communication section. There are things like bingo, matching pairs, lots of activities to support with turn taking, speaking and listening, and developing vocabulary. And there's also a variety of colourful semantics resources as well, ready to use to support with that understanding of sentence structure as well. There's also a large section based around the literacy goals. And within that, there's a variety of activities to support with speaking and listening, phonics activities, things such as matching and sorting and click cards to develop that understanding of simple decoding and blending skills. There's also a writing section as well, which includes lots of performers and prompts that can be used to support understanding and to support writing in different areas of the provision, so in the construction area or outside. And there's also a rhymes and stories section, so I'll show you that a little bit later on, a whole set of symbolised rhymes and stories that are ready to use in your setting. We also provide a variety of story maps, so such as this example. This is in the pack. A resource like this could obviously be used to support perhaps with pre-teaching vocabulary, or perhaps as a consolidation as well, consolidation of understanding. And these can all be they can all be translated as well using the dual language feature. We've got 80 languages approximately within Widget Online that you can translate into. There is a whole selection of resources in the pack that support with routines and supporting transitions. So this example of a first and next board, you can see it's been populated, but it might be that you chose to print off a blank version, and then you could print off your options, your choices, and then they could obviously be Velcroed on. Obviously, these are really useful, a really simple resource, but a really useful resource to support that understanding, give that structure as to what's happening throughout the day or throughout a specific activity as well. This is a template that is available in Widget Online. Obviously really useful to help with that understanding of sequences and routines. So in the pack, there is this example that's already populated to support with getting ready to go outside. There's also a hand washing version as well. But as I said, they can be edited and you can create your own. But obviously having something like that across a setting can really help with that understanding. I think having the consistency of the symbols can really boost that understanding and build confidence and independence as well. There's a whole selection of resources around developing signage and labelling for your setting. You can see on the slide there's examples of flashcards based on different areas of the setting, but they could obviously be personalised. There's also some tray labels there. All different types of resources really, just to give that support for learners as they navigate their setting and build confidence really and help them make sense of their environment. There is a section geared all around building understanding of the world as well. So in this category, you'll find a variety of resources based around learning about celebrations, different cultures, and celebrating diversity. There's also resources in there around learning about the natural environment and learning about the importance of taking care of our world and sustainability as well. I think the goal of this category really is to provide practitioners with resources that help children to really make sense of their physical world and their community. There is a large section called personal, social and emotional development, and that I think most closely correlates to the health and wellbeing section of the curriculum for excellence. A whole variety of resources to support with emotional understanding and also regulation as well. So the examples on the slides, you can see a feelings thermometer there, and then on the right an emotions board which shows the chosen emotion, and then the triggers in blue, the actions in yellow, and then the strategies in red. So obviously resources like this would need to be tweaked to suit the individual, but they're populated to give some ideas of what might be useful.
We've just included this photograph of an emotions board from a nursery in Bradford, because it's just such a good example of the way that symbols can be used. In the morning, the children come in, they take their name card and they put that next to the emotion that they're feeling. And if something happens during the day, they're encouraged to go back to this emotions board and change their name into a different category. At the same time, they have solution cards. So right at the bottom right-hand corner, you can see that they can choose a solution card. So that might be to sit quietly, to talk to an adult, to take deep breaths. And what this particular nursery, Hurstwood Nursery School, has found is that it helps the children to relate the physical feelings of an emotion to the language of that emotion, but also helps them learn to self-regulate, to come up with strategies that can help them to calm down and then get back to the busyness and the learning in the environment.
So a real key benefit we feel to having symbols in a setting is that it does really foster that sense of independence and building those independent learning skills, as illustrated really in the previous slide. But that ties in closely with supporting children in making those meaningful choices. So this is just an example of a choice board that's in the pack, and it links in with the rhymes and stories section that I mentioned earlier. So these are all of the rhymes and stories that are symbolised and ready to use in the pack. But we've introduced the choice board to go with the resources, so that gives the children a means of communicating their choices really, and making those choices and effectively sharing them either by pointing or by selecting the appropriate card.
Okay, so that was just an introduction to the pack. What we've got now is just a little short video that shows you how you can actually access the pack within Widgit Online and how you can amend all of those resources to suit the individuals within your setting. So fingers crossed that we're going to be able to play it. No, that didn't work. Let's see what happens if we go onto the screen. Hang on, there we go. It worked yesterday when we were practicing with Claire. Should just be able to play. Okay, that's unfortunate. What we might do then is just finish the presentation, and then we'll, while there are any questions, we might see if we can get this to actually work. So just bear with us. We have, as well as the pack that we've created, we also created a early years guide, so how to build confidence in early learners, and this contains a whole lot of resources and ideas that you can use. So you can scan the QR code there, hopefully, and be able to actually access that PDF, downloadable PDF of that resource, which has got, I think it's got about 18 different strategies and suggestions of how you can symbolize those to create a really inclusive environment. We do have a free 21-day trial as part of our Widgit Online software package. Most of our settings would probably go for the home subscription, which is one user, so you're looking there at sort of £90 a month, not £90 a month, £90 a year, to be able to create your own resources and to access the resources in the early years pack. But the free trial is available. If you do go to download the guide, there will be a follow-up email that will send you access to the free trial as well. And then just finishing, although we will try and get this video to work, just a quote there from one of the nurseries that actually contributed to the early years guide. And I think it just sums up really how symbols can be so useful in an early years setting. So thank you for that. We will just, I don't know if there are any questions while I just have a little play and see if I can actually get this video to work. So I don't know, Claire, if you want to just sort of see if there's anything there for the moment, and we'll see what's happening.
Sure, thanks, Sue. That was great. If anyone does have any questions, feel free to just put them in the chat just now. Really good to see all of the different variety of resources that you've got there, and I particularly liked in your sequence resource that you shared, the arrow that was kind of there as an extra support to show, okay, once you've gone to this step, then go to the next step. So it's not top bottom, but it's left to right, and then we go around the corner and go left to right again. That was really, really nice. So thanks for sharing that. To both of you. Is the video behaving, Sue?
I've just stopped sharing while I see if I can
Yeah.
find the original version, and then we can possibly play it not within the PowerPoint.
No problem. If so, a plan B, if that doesn't work, I'm sure that will work, but we've always got the option. I can share my screen here and you could kind of talk me through if I log on to Widgit Online, because I don't have the pack installed, how that, you know, and we could let people see how it works that way. So that could be a plan C if your plan B doesn't cooperate. Does anyone have any questions? I can't see any in the chat, but that was all really clear.
Here we go. Right, okay, it's playing now, but I need
success.
to share the screen, so shush that there.
And share your sound as well.
Share my screen and sound, yeah.
Yeah.
Let's try that again. Okay, here we go.
So you've seen a few of the examples from the early years pack. What we wanted to do now is show you the actual live version on Widgit Online. So Widgit Online is a cloud-based program that you can access from any computer or tablet with an internet connection. So I've got up here the home screen, and I'm going to go into the early years pack and show you how you can amend some of the resources that we've made. So looking first in the personal, social and emotional development section, and I want to have a look at co-regulation. So they've got some really nice resources here, one of which is a regulation bubble. So by choosing that regulation bubble, you can see that we've made some suggestions. We also given you a blank copy that you can just fill in from here, or alternatively, you can go to create from a template from the home page and choose a template and make your own. But if I wanted to use this one as a basis, as a starting point, then I can very easily personalize it for my pupils. So for example, I'm going to change this image of a little boy into a photograph of a particular child. Now, if I have photographs in my image library, then I can just select that photograph and it will automatically replace. If I don't have photographs, then I need to upload. But again, that's very simple and easy to do. So we can type in here, we can just change the dots to my name is Sam. And that very quickly fills that in. Now let's suggest that Sam doesn't like deep pressure, but he prefers to use a weighted blanket, for example. So we can just delete what's there. Type in weighted blanket, and the symbol will appear automatically. Let's go and choose the right one on the right hand side, and we'll click and replace that one. Now, again, Sam's weighted blanket or Sam's body sock might be different colours to the ones that are here, and we can personalise by changing the colour. So if I go to the body sock and I want to change the colour of that so it matches the colour of Sam's, which happens to be red, then we can simply change the colour. So it's very quick and easy to use. Once I've created my resource, I can create a PDF, I can print, and I can save it to my Widget Online cloud folder. So I'm going to save this one. I'm going to put it in my documents, and it's Sam's regulation. Click OK. So I've saved that resource. Now I want to look at it and I want to view it online. So rather than actually printing it, I can view it online as a sort of online PDF. So here it is. If I want to go back in and edit, here I can create the PDF, and here I've got a view mode. Now this creates, as I said, a PDF online. It has a direct link to where this resource is stored in the cloud. So this can be copied, it can be pasted onto a web page, it can be pasted into an email and sent home. And the person who receives that link just clicks on it. They don't sign in, register or pay, just click on the link and they will see this resource, as you can see here, with the added advantage that you can hear it read aloud.
Squeezes.
You also have some Scottish voices. So if we wanted the child voice Andrew, we can choose that and we can again hear it read aloud.
My name is Sam.
So that's our view mode and how quick and easy it is to create and amend a resource that's ready made. If I wanted to create from scratch, then I would choose create from a template. Choose any of the 140 different templates that I want. So maybe some emotion, fans, and then simply type in what I'm looking for. So we can have sad and we can have happy. I'm sure I'm putting these in the wrong colours, but you'll be aware that you can put them in the correct ones. We could have confused, as I am at the moment. We could have anxious, and we could have angry. And we can also change the skin tone of any of our symbols. So if I wanted to change the skin tone for happy, then I can simply choose the skin tone icon and choose a more appropriate skin tone for that resource. So very quick and easy to create from scratch as well. I also wanted to have a look at what we call the document. Now, a document is a symbolized word processor, and I can just type and my symbols will appear automatically. It's smart. It knows the difference between a noun and a verb. So it will do its very best to choose the correct symbol for you. If I need a different symbol, then they appear on the right-hand side. So that's our document. It's used for stories to help, social stories. It's used for instructions, for any continuous text. So it might be rhymes, it might be stories, it might be songs. So again, I want to show you one from the early years pack. So we're going to go into literacy, rhymes and stories. Now, you've already seen the choice board that was available on the PowerPoint, so you know that you can choose different stories. So if I have a look at this one again here, so we can get the child to choose which one they want. We're going to have a look at Incy Wincy Spider, so we need to go back now and select that one. Here he is, Incy Wincy Spider. And you can see that you've got a symbolized version of that little rhyme. Now, again, if we wanted to change something on this, that's very easy to do. So let's say that you have in your setting a toy spider that you always use when you're doing this rhyme, and you have a photograph of it in your image library. Then again, very easily, we can pick that up and change that image. Because this one's already been done, we'd have to do it for each one. If I was starting from scratch, then every time I wrote spider in this document, it would use the image that I'd put in. So again, very quick and easy to change. So that's Widget Online, and just a little introduction. We can obviously answer any questions you have, and just let you know that a free trial is available. We'll give the links and the rest of the PowerPoint, but you can access a free 21-day trial and use it just to see how it works in your setting.
Okay, so we got there in the end. Apologies for the difficulties with that, but hopefully that gave you a bit of an insight as to how Widget Online actually works, and how once you've taken out a subscription, you can actually access the early years pack and either use it as it is, amend it, or indeed just use it as a basis for ideas of starting from scratch. I don't know if that generated any more questions or anything.
Not any that I can see, Sue. Thank you. That's, I think, one of the really nice tools that's on Widget Online is that ability to easily share resources with families at home through the link to the resource in the cloud, and obviously have the text to speech and have the Scottish voices in there as well. It's just, it adds a whole other element to it as well. It's not something just for an early years setting or for a primary school. It's something that can be used at home as well as a tool, which is fantastic. Really helpful.
Absolutely.
Okay, well, I can't see anything in the chat. If people want to get in touch with you directly, is there a best way to do that, please?
And probably the easiest thing is to go to info@widgit.com. So it's widget with an IT. If you remember, we are a computer company, a software company, then that helps to think about the IT. So www.widgit.com is the website, and info@widgit.com will take you through to the team who'd be very happy to help you.
Super. Someone's just asking if there's a link for the pack for current subscribers. So maybe that's something you could explain, just how people can get it into their subscription.
Yes, absolutely. So you on the menu, the main menu bar, if you go to extras, click on extras, and then you'll see the early years pack is right at the top, and you just need to install it. Now, next week, we are changing the menu bar, so it won't say extras anymore, it will say resources, which is a much more sensible vocabulary. Extras is because you used to have to pay for these things, but now we give them away free as part of the subscription. So if you go in at the moment, it'll be called extras, but from next Thursday, it will be called resources, and you'll find it easier. And once you've seen that, you can just install it into your own folder or shared folders if you're part of a group, and then it will be there ready to use.
Great. And I've just put a picture, a screenshot in the chat of what it looks like on my screen. You've got, because there's two options. There's a kind of big highlighted link at the top as well saying click here to go to the early years pack, and that will take you straight there. And there's a whole load of other resources there as well, aren't there, that people can add to their accounts. That's so great.
There's plastering pack, an autism pack, symbols at home, a whole range of different resources that you can add. Yes.
Super, that's excellent. Okay, well, I think we will close the webinar here. Thank you very much again, Sue and Sally, for joining us for your time today, and thanks everyone for joining us. We'll see you in March for the next webinar, hopefully March 13th, where we'll be talking all about talking maths. So thanks very much, everyone. Goodbye.
Thank you then. Bye.